A fierce battle is raging on in Gaza as the Israeli Defense Forces say they have breached Hamas strongholds in southern Gaza and are pushing back the Hamas. Israel says it is in its third phase of ground operations in the Strip, forcing thousands to flee on foot towards the Rafah Crossing with Egypt. Heavy gunfighting was heard in and around areas of Khan Yunis, previously considered to be safe. In a statement, the Israeli government described its three principles in Gaza. Listen in.
Our three principles for the day after Hamas, again, we wish it were next week, but those three principles are the total demilitarization of the Gaza Strip, de-radicalization and reconstruction. Demilitarization is a top priority.
Hamas has confirmed that at least three of its commanders highlighted in a photograph that is on your screens have been killed. Israeli military released the photo of 11 senior Hamas military leaders, including Yahya Sinwar, gathered in a tunnel beneath Gaza. The IDF says that 5 of them have been killed. The Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has said that the country's military is encircling the house of the top Hamas leader, Yahya Sinwar, who is currently hiding in Khan Yunis.
שני עדכונים קצרים. אמש אמרתי שכוחותינו יכולים להגיע לכל מקום ברצועת עזה. עכשיו הם מקטרים את ביתו של סינואר. אז ביתו איננו מבצרו, הוא יכול לברוח, אבל זה רק שאלה של זמן עד שנשיג אותו. דבר שני, אנחנו מפעילים לחצים כדי לאפשר את ביקורי הצלב האדום אצל חטופינו. ובהמשך לכך, שוחחתי היום שוב עם נשיאת הצלב האדום, ואמרתי לה שתפנה לקטר, שהוכח שיש להם מנוף לחץ על חמאס, ותדרוש ביקורים של הצלב האדום אצל חטופינו, וכמובן אספקת תרופות עבורם.
Meanwhile, Israel says that its military has broken through defensive lines in northern Gaza's Jabalia and Shijaya. This as Israeli forces are engaging militants in face-to-face combat in southern Gaza's Khan Yunis. Earlier, the IDF had said that they are operating in the heart of these areas.
בג'באליה, סג'איה ומרחב ח'אן יונס פרצנו את קווי ההגנה. המחבלים עכשיו יוצאים מתת הקרקע ונלחמים נגד כוחותינו, וכוחותינו בקרבות, פנים אל פנים, מנצחים עם ידם על העליונה.
On the other hand, Israeli strikes continue to pound southern Gaza. In the last 24 hours, heavy bombardment has taken place in Rafah. At least 9 Palestinians have been killed and several others injured. The dead and wounded could be seen being pulled from the rubble in the harrowing scenes that unfolded in the aftermath. Many Palestinians have been fleeing to Rafah for safety, but the fear is that there is no safe place anymore. The Israeli military also released footage showing its forces operating in Khan Yunis, Gaza's second largest city. The IDF said that the troops raided a Hamas battalion outpost and began targeted raids in the heart of the city. As per the UN, about 25% of Khan Yunis city is under Israeli evacuation orders. The attacks and counter-attacks continue. Hamas has also released footage to show attacks on Israeli forces in Gaza. The footage appears to show fighters using rocket-propelled grenades to attack armored vehicles. The Islamic Resistance Movement has also said that they have attacked Israeli posts near the Lebanese border. Video provided by the Islamic Resistance showed a vehicle exploding and several explosions near alleged Israeli installations. And Yemen's Houthi rebels have also said that they have launched several ballistic missiles at Israel. On Wednesday, the U.S. Navy shot down a drone that originated from a part of Yemen controlled by the Houthi group, as per U.S. defense officials. It is the sixth time the U.S. Navy has fired upon drones in the southern Red Sea since the war broke out. And in Tel Aviv, the producers of the Israeli Music Festival, which was targeted by Hamas militants on October 7th, recreated the venue in memory of the hundreds killed that day. Haunting exhibitions revealed that the devastation left behind by Hamas in the wake of the Nova Festival massacre. Relatives of the victims were present at the exhibition.
משפחות שכולות, אהובות, יקרות. מיכל ואני סיירנו מקודם לבד במיצג המרגש הזה. ראינו את הפריטים, נגענו בהם.
But reports have emerged which highlight that Israel had specific intelligence about the attack on Supernova Music Festival on October 7th. This is the same festival where hundreds were killed and many were taken hostage. The organizers could have alerted people and evacuated them prior to the attack, but that did not happen. And for the very latest on this, our correspondent Jody Cohen has sent us this report from Israel.
I'm at the 629 exhibit of the Nova Peace Festival, where Hamas killed over 360 young people, carried out mass rape, burnt people alive and took 40 hostages into Gaza. Now, according to a report by Haaretz, the Israel Defense Forces received intelligence of a planned Hamas attack, but didn't alert the Nova Festival organizers. That's because they reportedly felt it was a Hamas training exercise. Israel has said there will be a commission of inquiry into the investigation and these reports, but right now the focus is on the war effort. Meanwhile, UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres has called for a ceasefire, and Israel's foreign minister has said that that constitutes support for the Hamas terror organization. Israel's ambassador to the UN, Gilad Erdan, has said that Guterres should have called for Hamas to return the hostages and turn themselves in to end the war, and called on Guterres to resign. This is Jody Cohen for WION World is One.
Meanwhile, in a dramatic move, the UN chief Antonio Guterres used a rarely used power to highlight the perils of the Israel-Hamas war. Antonio Guterres wrote to the President of the UN Security Council invoking Article 99 in Chapter 15 of the UN Charter. Article 99 is seen as a discretionary power under the article. The UN chief can ask the Security Council to consider any matter that he feels may threaten international peace and security. A UN spokesperson said this was the first time Guterres had invoked Chapter 99 since taking office in 2017. The article has not been invoked in the last 5 decades. It was only invoked in the Republic of Congo in 1960 and on the complaint by Tunisia in 1961.
In the letter, which has been shared with you, the Secretary General urges the members of the Security Council to press to avert a humanitarian catastrophe, and he appeals for a humanitarian ceasefire to be declared.
Since the October 7 terror attacks by Hamas militants in southern Israel, the Security Council passed one resolution in mid-November after 4 failed attempts to find consensus.
The catastrophic situation we see unfolding in the Gaza Strip was entirely foreseeable and preventable. My humanitarian colleagues have described the situation as apocalyptic. In these circumstances, there is a heightened risk of atrocity crimes. Measures need to be taken urgently.
And taking a step further, United Arab Emirates gave the Council a brief draft resolution that would act on the letter from Guterres. The UAE aims to put the text to a vote on Friday in order for the resolution to be adopted. The resolution would need at least 9 votes in favour and no vetoes by the 5 permanent members. The P5 include the US, Russia, China, France and UK. The Deputy US Ambassador to the United Nations says Washington does not support any further action at this point. Israel has reacted strongly to the move. Israeli Foreign Minister Eli Cohen slammed the UN Chief Guterres, saying his tenure was a danger to world peace. Cohen said his request to activate Article 99 and the call for a ceasefire in Gaza constitutes support for Hamas. Following a week-long pause in hostilities, fighting began again on December 1st, leading the Secretary General to register his deep regret. Guterres says civilians throughout the Strip face grave danger. He stressed that over 15,000 people have been reportedly killed, with over 40% of them being children. The situation in the besieged Strip continues to get worse day by day, while some aid has entered Gaza from Egypt through the Rafah Crossing. The UN says rising hostilities since the week-long truce collapsed is hindering any distribution of that aid.
حطها بالشمس هيك عشان الرطوبة والبز الكذاب بتكون حرام من قلة الجوع. أواعي ما عندهاش فيش هي حرام خفيف. يعني ما فيش ولا أي ظرف تتهيأ إنها تعيش في جو زي هذا. يعني مش عارف كيف تعيش هذه الطفلة.
Over 1.8 million people have been displaced, and even now Palestinians are being forced to go further south. Hospitals are getting overwhelmed with patients. Over 73 deaths were reported in Gaza on Wednesday. The situation is so dire that people could be seen digging rubble to find food supplies. The UN agencies have warned that women and babies are bearing the brunt of the war in Gaza. Aid organizations are also saying the need is for a sustained and safe flow of medical aid to provide care to people who are injured critically. And delivery of aid has been hampered in Gaza due to the Israeli bombardment, which is relentless. For more on this, our correspondent Susan Tehrani has sent us this report from New York on the latest move by the UN chief.
United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres on Wednesday invoked a rarely used article in the UN Charter called Article 99 to push the Security Council and the international community to call for an immediate ceasefire to the Israel-Hamas war. Article 99 basically determines that the UN chief, quote, may bring to attention of the Security Council any matter, in his opinion, that may threaten the maintenance of peace and international security. And while it's not the first time that Article 99 has been implemented, it is the first time that Antonio Guterres, in his capacity as Secretary General since 2017, has invoked this article. But the major question, and one that many journalists were trying to find the answer to during the press briefing by the spokesman of the Secretary General, is that how is this different than calls made by Guterres time and again for a ceasefire and sending more humanitarian aid to Gaza?